Woohoo! This is going to be a wonderful show tonight, and this is going to be a great edit with all these different cameras.
Like I
And
said,
somehow,
we're up to...
I got to fit in here.
Yeah.
Ride 'em, cowboy.
Yeah.
Somewhere we got
Looks
show
like you're
notes.
sitting on Daniel's lap.
We have another camera here to
Yeah.
even complicate things further. We have John Abatecola on Skype tonight. What a great show. And Tyler's upstairs playing video games very, very loudly. We have a lot to cover tonight on this show. Let's do this. Somebody give us a countdown and start that clock, Daniel, whenever you say go, boys.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. In 3, 2, 1, you're up.
Boy, we got a lot of models on the table. We got an 89-foot auto rack tonight. We've got a couple diesels. There's a really beautiful award, something from the Franklin and South Manchester layout tonight. This is like unbelievable. Show number 63. What's neat this week, guys? Best hobby in the world. Let's go. The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you. Additional support is provided by Athern Trains. Check out all their new monthly announcements at athern.com. And by Bachmann Trains. Now that's the way to run a railroad. Check out their website at bachmanntrains.com. Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast. This is the What's Neat This Week show for January 19th, 2019. This is show number 63, guys. Can you believe we've done that many so far?
Wow.
Tonight, we've got a great show lineup. We've also got some great guests and our regular crew as well. Michael Budde, our favorite Daniel Coombs, Mr. DCC. On Skype tonight, we've got John Abatecola from beautiful sunny California. Hello, John.
Hi,
Welcome.
John.
Thanks for having me on again, guys.
We've got you on
Thanks for
tonight
being
because I
here.
didn't think anybody would show up this evening because we were supposed to get another one of those snowstorms where Joshua doesn't even leave downtown.
That's right.
So I thought it might have just been you and I tonight. But as it is, it didn't snow.
Nope, sure didn't.
We've also got Sugar Fire Joshua Barton here, Joshua,
everybody.
and he's got quite a lot of stuff to talk about tonight too. I don't even know where to start. We've got so much great stuff going on right now. I just got back from Kansas City, and I had a great experience out there with Stephen Priest, Joel, and Cynthia. What a great family. Model railroaders, overachievers, and I saw a magnificent layout. His layout is Santa Fe Main Line, 1978, and it was absolutely beautiful. It looked a lot like John Parker's layout, the Fall River Division layout that I filmed out in Colorado. And the reason it looks the same is because those two gentlemen are modeling the same territory, the same railroad, and you got to figure if they get it right, they should look the same.
That's right.
So I've never seen anything like that where the test was passed and it was just in my face beautiful. Both layouts are gorgeous, but Stephen Priest did a magnificent job on this layout. The reason I went out there is because he is going to be moving from Kansas City and he's going to have to tear down the layout. So I wanted to film it before something happened to it. I also got to see the offices of Model Railroad Craftsmen. What a magnificent operation. What an education to see the equipment that is used for the publishing business these days. The technology is really there for that. And it was just an overall great experience to get out of the basement for just a couple of hours, a day trip, in and out, do the filming, and then get back here. So we've got a great segment for the March What's Neat video at Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine on that layout. So look forward to that coming up. Joshua, you want to say something tonight? I'm going to throw it to you, brother.
Yeah, well, we have a bunch of comments coming to our Facebook page, the What's Neat This Week show. And I want to give a couple shout-outs. First to Stephen Kusin. He's the gentleman that bought the Oregon, California, and Eastern Railroad car.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we have a little footage of him running it on his 2-foot by 8-foot shelf layout. It's a pretty neat little video, and man, that's a great-looking car, isn't it?
Steven said it's already in revenue service. It's making money on his layout, and that he was very proud to make this contribution that he made to the museum out in Greeley, the Colorado Model Railroad Museum out there. So thank you very much for doing that.
Thank you.
Now, we do have another auction coming up, but I'm going to set this one up for a 10-day auction where it'll revolve around possibly 2 shows so that we're able to talk about this. Now, next week is the week that we get off, so we don't do a What's Neat This Week podcast next week, but the following week is when we will bring out the George Celios fine-scale miniature boxcar. You know what? It's right here. Let me grab it.
Right behind you. I've been drooling over it for the last couple of days.
Oh, okay. I was looking at that. I didn't know what that was.
I cannot.
Mike, that fits
This
your
is
era.
I have not
amazing.
touched this all week. There's no zooming cameras here, so I can't give you guys a great shot of it. We don't have cameramen. But I cannot believe I'm holding this in my hand.
Yeah.
This is a Franklin and South Manchester boxcar number 234. I think it's an AccuRail car, and we've got videotape of George decaling and weathering and building this freight car, running it on his layout. And he said that what he wanted to do was be able to contribute to the museum out in Colorado, and that this would be his way to do that. So he
Nice.
made this car for the very first time ever that anybody's ever gotten to have one of his freight cars
Wow.
off of its Franklin and South Manchester layout. Guys, this is like gold.
Yes.
This is amazing. So thank you very much, George, for
Yes.
what you've done. We will put this on eBay. We'll announce it on that first show that we do once we get back to recording, and kind of hype it up and show some. I'll shoot it outside with some real live outdoor photography. There's also a coal car here, and he wants to donate that directly to the museum and have it put on display out there. So I've got that down here too. I know. Here you go. It's a Franklin
Wow.
in South
Yeah.
Manchester coal car. It's got a
That's
load in it.
awesome.
He weathered it. And so this is going to go out on display at the museum, be able to be run on the layout. I'd love to see it like built into a picture frame with a picture of George and his layout behind him mounted in the frame with the boxcar or with the freight car mounted in the frame. I saw Stephen Priest had some of those in his studio. His studio was so amazing. I'm back to Stephen. When we were at Stephen's layout out there in Kansas City, it's one thing to see the layout, but you don't build a layout like that unless you've got a magnificent workshop.
Right.
And he exposed his workshop. So we've got film footage of that, and it's a treat. I mean,
Wow.
it looked a lot like Michael Richards' vault out there at Caboose, where the repair shop is, and you see all the.
Yeah.
He had so many drawers and so many parts, and you have to have all that stuff to do what it is he does. So I don't know how I got back on that. I was so enthusiastic about that. So there's a lot of different things going on here tonight. Mike, you brought a bunch of beautiful boxcars. Tell us about these.
Yeah. These are from Moloco. They're General American insulated boxcars produced from 1963 through 1968, but they were in service till up through the mid 2000s. But I bought the Frisco cars because they serve the Campbell Soup plant in Paris, Texas, and that's one thing on my layout that I wanted to model. But he's got two Frisco cars, and then this ACL car was in that same pool. But these cars are just, it's hard to describe how nice they are.
They're
just,
incredibly detailed.
and the detail is all really tough too. Like the end stirrups are steel, and the air hoses are rubber. So and the cut levers are all steel, and they're very secure, so they don't get broken off every time you try and take them
very
over to somebody's
durable on
house.
top of it.
So, but yeah, he's got a lot of time invested in these because he's got 6 different underframes and 10 different air brake or hand brake settings or styles to put on there. All road specific. The underframe, the side sills are different, and the roof, they're all specific to the roads. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it sure
all
is.
the research and detail that went into them. But they were used mainly in food service, some lumber products, paper products. But again, I'm using mine for Campbell Soup.
Dude,
But,
these are gorgeous. These
yeah,
are better
they
than
are.
brass.
They
it's
are.
amazing.
Wow.
Well, yeah,
And that's Moloco, right?
Right.
We
yes.
interviewed him during one of the prototype modelers
Yeah,
meets,
Nick.
and I had fun with Nick. He was a
Yeah.
great interview because I asked him what did how did he name his freight car company, and it was really cool. I love
Yeah.
him. He's a great guy. I look
Right.
forward to seeing him back in St. Louis this
Yeah,
year.
he'll be here this summer.
We love it when you do this, Mike.
Right. In front of the Frisco box cars up there, I have some police cars that I've done over the past few years. They're St. Louis County police cars from the mid to late 70s. And they were always that brown color. That's when I first got my driver's license and became aware of what they looked like, especially in the rearview mirror.
I'm sure.
But I just I printed out some the insignias for the door on the computer and just cut them out and glued them on there. I really should get some decals made. But anyway, the cars from left to right are classic Metalworks 78 Chevrolet Impala. Then the next to that is a station wagon version of that same car that I did for some of my auto rack loads. I used one for a police car.
That'd be the K9 unit, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yes. Then in the center there is the Bush or Praline Dodge Monaco. Then the next to that is the 87 RPM Matador AMC. I still want to call them Ramblers, but AMC Matador. Our St. Louis County Police had a lot of those. And then next to that is a 74 Matador. I'm sorry, 74 Monaco. But anyway, those are all painted to represent cars from the era that I model. And the 87 RPM cars can still be made or gotten from Peter Rings, and I've got his email address here. You could put it up on the bottom of the screen, but that's the best way to get these 87 RPM vehicles is through Peter Ring's email. And you can also see them on the Flickr page at 87 RPM.
That's awesome.
Nice.
You know what I really love about this show is every time I look over there, it's like a picture of John hanging on the wall.
Hi, John.
Hi, John.
Could I just keep that picture down here? Because, you're a good-looking guy, John. I love you on camera. Welcome to the show, John, man. Tell us what you've been up to. I know you're out there filming every day.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for having me back on. Happy New Year, guys.
I
Same
know.
to you.
And it's going to be a great
Yeah.
year, guys. It's going to be a
It's-
fantastic year for the hobby. A lot of things good are
Yeah.
going to happen that we know, that we are aware coming. A lot of things are going to change, and changes are all positive, John. This is going to be a great
It's-
2019.
It's shaping up to be a really good year. I'm excited, guys, because the TSG Multimedia YouTube channel just recently went over 24,000 subscribers.
Wow.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Yay, we got to applaud. I love it.
I was right. I wasn't even asking for it, but I was looking just today at the stats from the past year, and it seems that from January 19th of last year to today, which is exactly a year, I added over 9,000 subscribers, which is pretty exciting.
Yes.
And something else I know, Ken, you're aware of that I was pretty excited about. I'm a little bit hoarse because I caught the flu a couple of weeks ago, and I'm just now finally getting over it completely.
Yeah.
But I went to Salt Lake City to go help Joe Fugate with a layout tour for Model Railroad Hobbyists. I guess Train Masters TV is a division of MRH Media. And Joe was doing a layout tour there at Ted York's Cajon Pass.
Yes.
And I got to go and help him out with that. And he even had me go in and pretend I was running it. Well, actually did run some trains there, but pretend I was running some trains. So I may even have a cameo appearance on one of the layout tours. So that ought to be fun. But yeah,
he was looking forward to having you out there with him. Joe had talked about that previously the week, and I was going to ask you if we're even allowed to talk about that tonight, because I know you guys shot some really great material that's going to come out in the future. And how was it? Did you enjoy working with Joe? I mean, tell me about the experience, because I've had the opportunity and I liked it.
Yeah, I've known Joe. We've been talking on the phone for probably 5 years or more, or somewhere thereabouts, and I'd never met him before. But what a great guy! I mean, he's very he's one of the good guys, you know. He's
Yes.
very hospitable and just a very decent guy, and I mean that in the best way possible.
He's a man of his word, and I've been working with him for 8 years, and the guy's
Right.
honest. So rock
Good.
and roll, I totally endorse him. Now, you know, people ask all the time, how come we're staring up in the sky when we're doing these interviews with folks on Skype? I mean, it's like we're looking straight ahead, like we're,
Yeah.
you know. I'm going to show you guys. Here we got our camera. This is our behind-the-scenes cam. Hi, Danielle. Hey, guys.
Hi.
But as you see here, we've put up a few monitors in the room so that we can look straight ahead. We've got actually a few monitors that also give us the camera angles when we had cameramen working here. But it's kind of, it's desolate. Again, we did have sort of a snowstorm tonight, but there you guys go.
Stripe is the only one that's
Where's
in the
Stripe at?
audience tonight,
Where's
right?
Stripe?
Right
Over there.
Look
See
at
that?
Stripe.
All right. Everybody loves Stripe. And that's some edit that you'll never see again on the show, but we wanted to show you just a little bit of a look at that nice space we're going to build the trade show booth over there.
There you go.
Thank you, Joshua. Get that Narrowgate stuff out of my garage, brother. And so I'll put away this camera now and stop playing, but that's going to be kind of a fun
great.
edit. Look at that. We're 13 minutes into the show. Okay, that's fun. I'll never do
Editor's note.
Every show is different. There's no such thing as the same
That's right.
format repeated because this is put on by a bunch of. You're the only professional in the room, John.
Right,
Hey,
and I'm
you're
not
one
even in the
too.
room technically. So.
Rest of us are just model railroaders that, you know, every model is 10 mistakes fixed.
That's right.
That's pretty much how that works out. Now, you know what? We've gotten a lot of material from the internet. We requested that anybody wants to see their layout or some of their models that they've built, please post them onto our What's Neat This Week Facebook web page that we have. Thank you for setting that up.
Hey, did we get good response?
Oh my gosh, I got a beautiful series of photographs, 2 photographs here from Keith Carroll. He said that upon watching the show, it was one of those things that inspired him to actually get busy and build something. And he was so proud of this GP30 where he added the high hood to it. This is I believe this is a lifelike Wathers model. And he added the high hood to it and painted it in his favorite paint scheme, the Southern Railroad. And those are the 2 photographs that he sent me of it. Thank you very much,
Wow.
Keith Carroll. I also got Andrew Porter. He sent us the Elk Creek Logging Company number 4 parked right outside of his engine house on his shelf layout. Thank you very much, Andrew. This is a great shot, and that's a beautiful engine. Just, it must be so cool to watch that thing creep out of that engine house. Good job. Good work on your diorama. And I believe you've got one there too, Joshua.
Yeah, we're going to go across the pond for this one. And Gordy Robinson, everyone knows him from the NMRA. But we have this picture of him and his dog Dabbler and his lovely new daughter Annabelle watching episode 61.
How about that? He's
That's
got an
cool.
Anna too. That's beautiful. That's a neat picture. And you're looking at the What's Nietzsche over in England.
That's right.
That's awesome. Kathy Millett's got some brand new videos on her YouTube site. I looked that up today. I didn't screen capture them, but they're about winter time. She's got 2 brand new videos on her YouTube site. Check them out about modeling winter. And there was also another video on that Luke Towan had where he's using his 3D printer again to do some pretty incredible modeling. So check out Luke Towan's website. And of course, John Abatecola's TSG Multimedia website over here. You do so many videos, John. You do 5 times the amount of videos that I do. It blows me away, the material you crank out.
Oh, well, thanks. I work really hard at it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go see my friend Murph tomorrow to go do the next episode of Model Railroading 101, which you'll like this. It's about using JMRI with NCE, your favorite
That's right up my
DC
alley.
That's
system.
right up my alley,
Yes.
too.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that. I haven't seen, that's, for people who watch my channel, that's the guy that always has the wine. He actually makes his own wine. So I'm looking
Oh,
forward
really?
to some wine tomorrow and some filming tomorrow.
You know, we accept wine here in Missouri. You can just send that over if you have some
Tell you
extra.
what, man, he makes good wine too. So looking forward to that.
I'm absolutely amazed at how many people we've discovered that do use this NCE system. And what's even more amazing are the businesses that use it. We've shown already on the show that Rapido uses it to test all their models over in China
Yep.
before they're shipped to the U.S.
Soundtrack.
We've also shown that
Soundtrax uses it.
Soundtrax uses it to test every single one of their decoders as they're hand tested manually one at a time. And then, of course, the big layout out there, Greeley uses it. That huge layout just south of Milwaukee. I don't recall the name of it. It's a 5,000 or 6,000 square foot layout. I saw that they use the system on that. I see so many big systems that use it, and now that I've used it and discovered how simple it is, I think I'm starting to understand why.
Yeah.
I'm starting to figure it out. Would you say that, John, it's simple is what it is?
It's pretty simple, and that hammerhead control is pretty ergonomic. One thing I've noticed out here on the West Coast is that all of the really serious, larger layouts use it as well. The layout in La Mesa, which is that giant, huge layout in a museum that models Tehachapi Pass in HO scale. There's another one up here closer to me in a place called Crockett, called the Carquinez Model Railroad Society. They also use NCE. So, and there are some guys that I sometimes will go to lunch with. We call this event the DCC lunch. They meet every week out here. And wouldn't you know it, most of those guys, and they're pretty hardcore guys that have, some of these guys are the original developers of JMRI. So it's kind of a neat thing to be able to hang out and talk to them and listen to them, because you gain insights about stuff that you otherwise would never hear anywhere.
Right.
And they're all big NCE fans too. So there's something to it, you know.
There certainly is. You know, speaking of DCC, Daniel, I think you've brought a locomotive here tonight. You want to talk about this Union Pacific long nose, what is it, SD40-2?
Well, it's an SD40N rebuilt from the Jenks, Arkansas shops from an SD40-2 rebuild. Reason for the extended nose is that in real life right now they're RCL locomotives, so they had to have room to fit all the computer controls and for the remote control box, and they decided to just put it up in the nose. Also, I'd like to say I got this model from Caboose in Lakewood, Colorado. Our friend Kevin Rubel.
Very nice.
I called him up. I said, "Do you have a
Makes me
1581? Because I have the 1665 and the 1616. I need a 1581 to complete the trio
Nice.
of snoot nose engines." He's like, "I got it. I can ship it to you. 2 days priority shipping. Any orders, I think over $100 or so, free shipping."
Wow.
That's great, Daniel. And you know, I just realized something. We can shoot our own B-roll from back here.
There you go.
So as you talk about this next engine that I'm looking at, that you can see from the backside.
Yeah, it looks to me
what is
like.
that? Is it?
I think it looks like a Bachmann
That is.
SD40-2.
Yes. This is a new paint scheme in their line of locomotives, and I'm going to actually shoot this outside and shoot some actual real nice photographs of this model because this one deserves it. This reminds me, God, I remember so long ago when we waited literally 9 or 10 years through the 70s for the SD40-2 models to finally come out. Yeah. And then it was one of those smaller cottage industry companies that had manufactured it before Concord took it on. But now this model is so beautiful. It's got scale handrails on it. Magnificent job to Bachmann Trains on this model. It's DCC ready, and it does run good. I ran it tonight on the layout. Nice job on the paint work, too. So thank you for sending us that. And I've also got 7 more days to complete the catalog cover. I can't wait for the snow to go away. Otherwise, we're going to have a snowy shot of this beautiful Pensy locomotive pulling a passenger train out of a tunnel with some wire trees, because I have a feeling it's going to be a winter shot. But if I can warm it up with a little bit of a bright sky and some colors, we're going to warm up this shot and make it really spectacular. Actually, what I'm going to do is give Bachmann a choice of 3 or 4 different types of photographs to choose from. Instead of just picking one season, I'll shoot a winter time. I'll shoot something with golden trees. I think I'm going to pull out the old Wathers 2002 Wathers diorama where I did the cover for their catalog. It's a 4-track mainline black ballast. That fits Pensy just perfect. Yeah. So if I threw in some trains on that, threw in some rolling hills, you know, rock and roll, we'll have this cover done. It's going to get done one way or another, guys. I promise I will make your deadline on that project somehow.
You talked about how to make mountains in that particular cover, I think, on the podcast the Christmas of 2017. You covered on how to make the mountains.
Is that right? How do you know all this? And Jeff Meyer's right. Do we need to test you on this?
All right, let's write it down and we'll...
Question A, B, or C.
Do you know John's videos? Like, could you rattle off what's in all his videos as well?
Not really, because there's so many.
There are. What's your favorite video that you've made lately this month? I mean, you know, some of my interviews go so smooth. The one with Stephen Priest and Joel, his son, that was beautiful because we all danced on that interview, and I got a high five at the end of it. It was a great interview. Do you have a favorite? Is there somebody that's so easy to work with that you look forward to those interviews, John?
I would say that it's always a real pleasure working with Jack Burgess.
I was thinking him when I was asking the question. That's awesome.
Because he's so knowledgeable.
Yes.
And he's a very well-spoken guy. There's not really too much audio editing that has to take place. But since you mentioned it that way, I do want to mention one video that I was really proud of. And I don't remember if I mentioned this last time. I don't think I did, because I'm not sure if it was out yet. But I did a video that was what I refer to as the annual Steam Special. And that's where I went out to Ely, Nevada, and did the Nevada Northern. And that video turned out so well, and I was so proud of it that I actually want to find some film festivals to enter it into. And that came out on December 29th or something like that on my channel. It's I don't know if you guys had a chance to see it or not, but that may be the best video I've done for YouTube so far.
That's
And,
awesome. You call that your masterpiece.
Is that the
it's
one?
definitely among the best, if not the best one, one that I'm most proud of, because the people there were very hospitable and welcoming and did not shy away from the camera. I had a couple of guys who are veritable experts on the history of that, not only the history of that railroad, but also their current operations as well, which would be the Eastern Nevada State historian there. His name's Sean Pitts. Told a great story of the history of that railroad, and then their current president of operations. There's actually two groups. There's the state group, and then there's the local group. And so Mark Bassett is the president of the local group, and then Sean Pitts is the director of the state museum there on the grounds. And I also got to talk with one of the interns there, because they have an intern program. So it was just really neat. And we were there for a number of days, and I got some footage from some friends in the winter time. So it's just, there's a lot of variety in it. And
That's great.
although it's not as comprehensive as I would like to have made it, it tells a pretty complete story of that railroad's history. So very proud of that.
I love
one.
it when I can ask a question and the answer is so positive. He's so proud. That's awesome. I mean, I can feel your excitement, and you know what? Now I'm going to go watch it.
Oh, well,
I
I'd
hope
love
I
to
ran
hear
some
what you have to say
B-roll
about
of it
it.
while you were
Really
talking
nice.
about
I would
it.
hope so too.
This is cool. We got Stripe hanging out with us. Hey, Stripe.
Yep.
I think we might be almost coming to an end here, guys. Joshua, what else you got on your list? And
That's actually
I'm going to run through you guys. Daniel,
Well-
what do you got going on, brother?
Okay, so from Brian Everett, I'm going to give a shout to you.
Brian.
Oh, yeah, Brian.
He was the gentleman, I think, that scratch built that Pennsylvania 4-truck.
Oh, he sent us a
Flat
picture
car.
of that flat
Yeah.
car.
So what he did, and I'm just going to chop it up. I'm not going to read it all.
Oh, he
but
did a lot of work on it.
He did
Yeah, he
scratch
did.
built everything on it. He just added 15 thousandths of an inch brass wire for stirrup steps, cuff levers, and details, like the grab irons. And then he made polling. Is that how you say it?
This is all
Polling
scratch
pockets
built.
by
Yeah,
wrapping
wow.
wire
Love
around a
that.
drill bit.
You know what polling pockets are? Those are those
Yeah.
pockets they put on freight cars. And what they used to do is if there was two tracks side by side from each other, they would stick a pole between the cars and shove them.
Oh.
And they'd get an angle
Yeah.
shoved that way. I don't know if that's really legal anymore.
Oh,
I'm
no,
sure
it's
some-
not.
Oh, no. Regulations.
That's like kicking cars now. That's when you guys are kicking your cars and you're letting them free rolling on level track as if it's a hump yard. Kicking cars. We can still do that with Katy cars. Use those Kato wheel sets. Those things roll really well.
Oh, yes.
Some of the mountain wheel sets. It's amazing how you can kick cars these days. We really appreciate him sending that gorgeous freight car, man. It's gorgeous. He
It
even
is
weathered it with
magnificent.
powders. And it's just awesome, man. It runs on his friend's layout, on his Grand Trunk Western layout. So thank you so much. We love it when you guys send us the photographs of your work. It's just awesome to see work from England. I mean, the picture from England tonight.
Yeah.
How awesome is
Yeah.
that?
It is.
We love
This
you,
is the
Gordy.
best hobby in the world
That's
with
right.
the best people I've ever met. This past year of 2018 was magnificent. I can't wait for 19. NMRA show, here we come.
Yep.
We're going to be at the St. Louis Transportation Museum as the podcast crew together on that day. We're going to be shooting footage out there of the museum and some of the beautiful prototype models that are on display out there at the St. Louis Transportation Museum, which is right where you live.
Yeah,
it's less than a
basically.
mile. You could shoot a bow and arrow from there to your. But it's such a beautiful place. We've always wanted to do a show or go there and do some footage there. I'd also like to. I'm going to score an interview there for the What's Neat show for Model Road Hobbyist magazine too, because there's a lot to talk about there. They are also building a very large expansion. I understand they're going to try to raise $20 million to build what they are going to do. But from what I've seen that they have already built out there in that museum, since its infrastructure started back in the early 70s, well, I've got photographs of that. I'd love to run those someday on the show, of the museum in its very early state. But it's just a magnificent operation, and they're professionals. They've done this before. These guys know what they're doing.
Absolutely.
So look forward to that on the 15th. We'll record that segment. A lot of good material coming up, guys. We got a lot of neat plans. We've got now 2 roving reporters out there. We've got Campbell Rice out there on the loose with a video camera. And, of course, we've got our very own Michelle Kempema out there with a video camera and a microphone to do interviews. And I'm looking forward to the great material that we're going to be able to get from these new additional ways to produce material for the show. We're trying a lot of new things. Everything to us is a learning curve, but rock and roll, we're getting through it, and we're doing one thing that we love to do the best. And I know here
yeah.
comes that smile. Here it comes. This is the best hobby in the world. I love it. Let's all do it together. I mean, it's just awesome. Daniel, you can have the floor, brother.
What I was going to say is, if you guys haven't noticed, well, I got my shirt on the What's
Whoa.
Neat Teespring
Why
/
don't you turn around?
You
and
gotta
show
take
the
it off
back?
and show it to us, or what's going on here?
Check that
What do you got
out.
here?
Daniel Coombs.
Will those cameras pick that up,
Consulting.
or is that where I gotta do that?
B-roll it.
We'll get
I
some
know. What's
B-roll.
this? Here we go.
Look at
There you
that.
go. There's your clip. What's it say? It says Daniel Coombs Consulting.
That's right.
Who's that guy with the glasses on?
And the good
So,
old
rock
What's
and
Neat
roll.
logo.
That's right. Go to our Teespring website. Make sure you go to YouTube and you like us, you subscribe to us,
Ugh,
and make sure. Oh,
what is that?
I don't know.
I just had an idea.
what was your idea?
I like
don't
this
know, but it made
camera.
a
This
fancy
is
noise.
crazy. We're going to Steak and Shake, guys.
That's right.
I
Oh,
think-
man.
What's the clock doing? Oh, is that the phone? Did we lose our clock? Hey,
Yeah.
Raina's calling. We love
That's
Raina.
right. Hi, Raina.
So we don't have a clock no more, but where were we? It doesn't matter.
We're at 28 minutes and 45 seconds.
Wow, John, we love you, man. It sounds like we're
Oh,
coming to the
thanks,
end. Anything
man.
else is on
Right.
your list? Because this one's a wrap. I think we're ending this one, guys. Why not?
I don't think
It's
I
time
have
to go
anything
run
else
some
on my
trains.
list.
It is.
We got a lot of stuff to run down here tonight.
Hey,
We
and I
really
want to
do.
run my new engine from Kevin.
Yeah.
Thank you
Rock
again.
and roll. All right, guys, the best hobby in the world and the podcast that's got the #1 award for Video Podcast of the Year. Thank you very much, James Wright, YouTube, for that. We really appreciate it, and we sure hope we can live up to your expectations. Let's all work together, folks, to make this the best show that is there to promote the best
That's
hobby in
right.
the world for all of us. To
Indeed.
show everybody what it is we can do. John, I can't wait. I got your airfare. You're coming to St. Louis very soon. We're going to set this up, and you're going to build some models here, and I'm going to film you doing it.
All
It's gonna happen,
right.
man.
You are also
That's
going
great.
through the Ken Patterson Model Building School over here, and it's going to be great because once we get you doing stuff, you can explain to folks from your position of doing it how to do it. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it
When
sure
you've done
does.
something for the first time, isn't it easier to explain to the beginner how you've done something?
Oh, definitely. And I'll tell you something. I mean, I always shy away from saying, oh, yeah, I'm a modeler, because I know I'm not very good at it and I haven't been doing it for a long time. But I've installed a whole bunch of DCC into a whole bunch of locomotives and have a lot of fun doing it.
Same.
There's a
Right.
dude. There's a thrill. You've done all this work. You got your soldering iron and your little goggle. The magnifying thing. and you got all this stuff done, and you put it on the track, and it works.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
just cool,
That's
isn't
a
it?
great feeling,
love
isn't
that.
it?
That's awesome. Hey, Stripe.
Stripe.
We are closing out this one. We are 30 minutes, 26 seconds, guys. This is show number 63, the What's Neat This Week Model Railroad Show. What's new in model railroading? Over and out, guys. Let's go run some trains.
See you later.